3, 2, 1.
What is going on, Southwest ISD? What is going on? Welcome to your number one stop shop for all things Southwest ISD athletics. This is the Scoreboard podcast. I am Brandon Medina here with you, as always, with your athletic director, Mr. Peter Wagner. How are we doing, sir?
We're doing great. I mean, since you decided not to come to the game last week and didn't have a podcast because I can't make it. So, sorry, everybody. Sorry, James. Sorry, Andy.
Wow.
It is Brandon's fault because he's like, no, we can't do it this week.
It wasn't that.
And
I was moving offices.
Don't worry. He's already
that.
run his hills.
Ran the hills back in the day. We did all that.
Did his up downs.
Yeah.
We're ready to roll.
Not too many of them, but we definitely did as much as we could. But no, yeah, we have I just got a new office. We are now centrally located. We have the podcast table in my office now. We're not having to go somewhere. A little behind the scenes action, right? We're not having to go to different rooms.
They stuck you in a closet.
Yeah, hey, here we are. The best sounding closet you got. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So with that, we are here. And everybody gets to live the fancy, luxurious life like you.
Hey, you got some plush carpet, though.
It's very, very, very groovy.
Yeah,
groovy. Is what they used to say back in your day, right?
It's kind of groovy. Yeah. Oh, I'm still on the cool mode, dude.
No, dude. You're done. It's over. So let's talk a little bit about Southwest ISD athletics as we do here. If you've never listened to the show, all we do is go over the week in Southwest ISD athletics, look forward to the future, look forward to the playoffs, talk a little bit about some highlights and some players that are making some great things happen here at Southwest ISD on and off the field. First up, though, since we missed last week, we want to make sure we recognize our incredible tennis team.
Great year.
Great for both schools. I mean,
absolutely incredible year.
One of the very few times you will see.
There's about 3 losses between the two of them.
Yeah, one of the very few times you'll see the same district competing for one district championship. Southwest Legacy wins that, and they have cemented a place in the history books for Southwest ISD. Southwest High School, still always competitive. They get over that Medina Valley hump.
Both teams, yeah.
I'm sure they're going to come back next year and really want to go ahead and win the district championship themselves. Mm-hmm. So we could see, hopefully, a big run for Southwest ISD.
But not just in district. You know, they went to the first round, and I mean, both teams pitched a shutout. Yeah. You know, they didn't lose a game. Great job by both coaches and kids and everybody. You know, great group. Went over there and Legacy wins a district championship, turns around, wins a by-district championship over Jefferson, and it was, you have to get to 10. They won 10-0. Then you get to the Dragons, who runners up, but also by-district champions. So they get a banner, and they put one up, and they beat the Highlands Owls 10-0.
Nice.
And so last week, that was pretty cool. Did that on Tuesday, and then turned around and went to Wimberley and watched the Titans play the Cedar Park Wolves in Wimberley, and one of the better teams in the state, and competed. I mean, you took our top 2 boys doubles teams in that match. You know, they both went 3 sets, and it was like all the way through the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
In both those sets. I mean, competed really well, really moving up in the world and how they do those things. So that was really good. Then you go to Southwest. Southwest went to Buda Hayes High School, and they played Leander, which is literally the district champion in the other district up there.
Yep.
One of the top teams literally in the state, 1 or 2 in the state. And our girls doubles team of Miriam and Luceto Alvarado, they won their match, which is I'm not so sure we've won many matches in the second round of team tennis.
Especially against
it was
team
a
of that
big
caliber.
deal. Yes, it was a big deal. You know what I mean? Yep. And they competed, did a great job. But across the board, both teams are doing a great job. They did great season, like we said.
Yep.
Coaches really building some great things. Really, really excited about what we saw and look forward to the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. Tennis is definitely one of those sports that I think we've always been close there. The district championship has not really come home to Southwest ISD, and now it's here. And so now I think both schools are looking to keep it here. And I think we're going to see hopefully a run for Southwest ISD athletics in tennis in team tennis and individuals, and so that's exciting. And then when you look even across the pond again over there at Legacy, and you look at that athletics competition there, we can't skip over cross country either. I mean, the constant.
You know that we had a
state-
great cross country meet in total. When you look at how Medina Valley again, they have like an army, but when you take the individual awards, you had what was pretty neat. I was texting David Hinojosa for the Express News right away. So Annabella Zapata.
Yep.
Comes in and she wins that thing by about 30 seconds.
Oh wow.
And she'd barely beaten the girl from Medina Valley before. She wins that by 30 seconds. So she's a district champ as a junior.
So she finishes and is able to get like a few breaths in her before
Oh, yeah,
anybody even.
She already had like some water.
Yeah,
It's like she's over
down.
there at the end
cheering them on.
Hey, good job. Way to finish.
Wow.
And stuff like that. And so she wins it. And then her brother turns around and he wins it by about a minute and a half.
Wow.
And everything. He runs in just over 16 minutes. And so brother-sister combo,
just go
individual district champions
Yeah.
at Legacy High School.
I like you just go have breakfast as a family. You're
Yeah,
hey, this was a
bring
good,
your
this was a good
medals.
weekend. This is a good weekend. So
Yeah, it's a
far.
pretty good weekend and everything. So they did great. And then, when you look at the girls' race, Southwest ISD as a whole, it was Annabella first. And at one point, it was Annabella first, a Medina Valley girl. Then it was Alicia Galvez third. And then it was another Medina Valley girl. Then it was Magali from Legacy. And so the first 3 of the first 5 were all Southwest Legacy.
Wow.
And then the next group that came in 8th was Austin Walsh from Southwest. And then you had Peyton Elwood. And then you had Peyton, and then you had Lillian Covarrubias from Southwest. So it was out of the first probably 11, I think 6 of them were Southwest ISD. So 5 of them, and then the other 5 were Medina Valley.
Yeah.
But just an overall really good one. And then props to coach, to both coaches, because Legacy's girls then end up second place overall. So they're going to regionals on Monday. And then the Southwest girls end up third place, and
Nice.
it was the difference between them was 3 points.
Wow.
It was extremely close. Exactly.
That as a coach, do you guys kind of enjoy that internal competition where they're almost competing against each other?
Oh
push each
yeah,
other more and more and
of
more?
course. I mean, you're always there's the fire and armor,
Right.
competition. I'm sure, but as the athletic director, I think that's awesome. I mean, how great of coaches we have, how great of kids and families we have that kind of success comes. You know what I mean? So you had second and third for them, and then on the boys' side, you had Anthony win it. But the boys from Southwest got third place as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So both teams from Southwest
Awesome.
are going to regionals.
Nice.
Now we're trying to find out, but we think this may be the first time ever that both of our teams
Go to regionals.
go to regionals at
Wow.
the same time.
So I mean, you're talking to just
Okay.
history being constantly made.
Now Legacy did that, I think, last year or the year before when they won the district championship.
Right.
I don't know that Southwest High School has done that yet
Okay.
and stuff. So since we dropped to 5A, our cross country team it's really been a little bit different story.
Right.
And then just great things, man. It was a heck of a district cross country meet last Thursday morning.
Nice. And then, cross country we talk about every week, and for a good reason. I mean, they're an absolutely dominant part of the Southwest ISD athletics teams. And then you look at volleyball, even more so. Just a true testament of consistency when it comes to volleyball. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on for volleyball.
Well, I think that I don't know if I'd say testament of consistency all the time. I mean,
Right.
if we're being honest, but the last couple of years for sure at Southwest High School, they had another big win against Medina Valley.
Yep.
A couple Fridays ago, and now it's
Could this
trying
be our
not to
best
get
year
hit.
against Medina Valley? Could this be like the best Southwest ISD year we've probably had in a while?
It
against
may
Medina
be.
Valley?
Yeah, especially after we talk about football and that craziness
Yeah.
and stuff. But it was pretty good. Last year we had a pretty good year with both football teams beating them. I think that the volleyball team beat them once or twice. And then
I'm thinking just across sports because I'm just all I'm thinking about.
Well, we haven't started playing basketball yet.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying for all the fall sports continuously right now.
Well, I mean, the tennis team beating them is huge.
Yeah.
Because we haven't done that before, so I guess you would say yes. So Southwest is already locked up, either first or second.
Okay.
They play South San tonight, and then Friday they go to Harlandale, basically for the district championship.
Nice.
The outright district championship. Assuming they can beat South San tonight.
Right.
They beat South San tonight. They play Harlandale.
Gotcha.
for all of the marbles pretty much, because if they win, even if they lost to Legacy, it wouldn't matter because Harlandale would have 2 losses. And so some big games coming up in that.
Sure is.
I will say this. I think that something that people may not realize is the volleyball team at Legacy has gotten so much better. Like, I think next year is going to be this year they turned the corner in a lot of ways. And I think that as they continue to grow, they're really building something over there. So I want to give props to Coach Cardenas and her staff as well.
Absolutely.
And what they're doing and everything. And I think that we'll see some of that as we move forward.
Yeah. Did you guys expect, and when I say you guys, I mean the athletics department as a whole, we are just, remind me, is it 6 years removed since Legacy just went up as a school? About
7, but 6. This is their 6th as a varsity program.
Gotcha. So as a varsity program, are you, as the athletic director, happy with how quickly they've kind of jumped into the competitive nature of athletics, or do you think this was kind of expected? What's kind of your take on things as far as, in 6 years to have a few district championships and a few different athletic programs and still be competitive? And now you said with volleyball coming up as well. What do you think over the past 6 years? I
remember when, I'd sit in meetings with Dr. Verstuff and a few others when we were planning Legacy, and just the whole idea of, man, in like a year or two, there's going to be another school over there, and when they're winning and when they're doing things, and seeing it now, I think that there's so many awesome things. Look back at softball. The softball and football really hit it pretty close. Really hit it pretty quick. Second year in, pretty much they were going. Softball's won 2 district championships.
Yep.
Football's won an outright and a co, and they've been 5 years running in the playoffs. Basketball, our girls basketball team was the first one to make the playoffs, I think, that first year with Coach Mack. And then the boys basketball team has kind of taken that torch the last couple of years and everything. And, and then you got Anthony going to state last year.
Yep.
Those types of things. So
tennis this year.
Tennis, definitely. And so to say, am I surprised? I don't know that I'd say surprised. I know the kind of coaches we have and the type of kids we have and things like that. I think that they're doing a great job. It's pretty phenomenal to see their success, and then to see where they're building to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, volleyball, like you said, we have a few big games today. Southwest has an opportunity to go and compete for an outright district championship, given if they beat South.
And Legacy has a big game against Medina Valley.
Yeah, and we just talked about it.
Yeah.
Another win against Medina Valley would be very nice for this.
It's either win or Medina Valley. It feels like we're always talking about.
All the time. And we love those geometrical rivalries, especially where we can kind of talk about some schools that
Is that a thing? Geometrical?
I think so.
I think it's geographical. Yeah.
Listen, we're recording a little later than normal, right?
I mean,
come on.
I didn't even know you knew what geometrical was.
Listen. I didn't take as many hits as you, sir. Listen, your boy just working through the motion.
Geometrical when it's supposed to be geographical.
Correct. Yes, sir.
I'm not reading it, so I can say it.
Yeah, class is in session. I know for sure you couldn't read geometrical if it wasn't funny. But let's talk about a little bit. You talked about volleyball. Let's talk about the excitement with football. And again, Medina Valley's coming up in this conversation.
That was nuts. That, from what I hear, wasn't there, but but my phone started blowing up about the end of the game. Did you see some of that?
So I know that they had it on the stream, and I talked to Blanca, who works in our child nutrition services. I ran into her over the weekend at a family get together, and I was talking to her, and she had mentioned how like they were going crazy listening to it on the radio, on their phones. Matt was watching it at the stadium at Legacy. They said that it was crazy, and so I know I watched only the third quarter of it when he sent it to me, and then I had got busy later on that day. But I know the game itself
wasn't real pretty.
It wasn't real pretty. Yeah,
No.
it was. The stats were not super exciting. It wasn't an incredible one, but it was a absolutely grinded out big victory.
It was
for
like
Southwest.
an NBA basketball game. Turn it on about a minute and a half left and see what happens. Is basically what it became. I mean, the coaches won't say that.
So it ends 12-9.
But with 30 seconds left, it was 9-6.
Yes.
Let's remember that.
I mean, it just
And stuff. And then to me, and my wife was telling me this because my wife's words were, "I cannot even explain this," and that was it. And then another friend texted me just, "Wow," like people are speechless. That's
three
I'm
letters.
I'm like,
exactly.
I'm gonna need a little more specifics here, people. And
That's
so with like what about 30 something seconds left, they hit a big corner route to Joe John Gonzalez, which was huge, and then they get one more pass play, I think, to Z Voss, and then they kick I think it ended up being a 42-yarder is what somebody told me. I was like, holy moly, okay, that's not what I would call a chip shot.
No, not at all. And I will say, you look at
the hold on that one. I don't know if it was that one or the one that we won it on, but Noah Manzano, man. With the heroic hold.
35-yard field goal. That's what it was. 35 yards.
Man, people are always like...
A little dramatic.
Yeah, a little dramatic.
It's okay.
So, point being, though...
Still, 35 yards is still a long way.
The hold by Manzano to put that ball down, because it was a high snap.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it was a high snap, and then boom, booted it through. You know, that was clutch. And they scored a touchdown, kicked the field goal, but they missed the extra point, and they returned and Medina Valley returned the extra point for 2 points. So I mean, like just nuts, man.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just a.
And it reminds me. It reminds me of 2 years ago, or was it last year? When I think it was last year when Legacy went over to Medina Valley, and they were down by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and onside. Yep. And came back and won after getting like 3 straight onsides.
Yeah, you had a Voss touchdown, who we've talked about quite a bit. And then you had a safety from Medina Valley. And then they go ahead and score a touchdown, which makes it 9-6. And then you have Southwest just figuring it out. And it was a grinded out game for a while there.
There was some good. I mean, kudos to Medina Valley's defense has been pretty stout across the season.
They have been. Angel Rodriguez then scores a 28-yard field goal, 9-9. They compete. Southwest recovers a fumble, field goal, 12-9, end of game. I mean, just craziness all
And
around.
that field goal is 35 yards to win the game?
I think so. I don't think that one was the long one. I think the other one might have been the longer one at 35. But regardless, an incredible game for Southwest. Like you said.
And the key to that is it really puts them like in the extreme driver's seat.
Yeah.
For a home playoff game.
It does. And what's crazy about it is we talk about, as a coach, you've talked about there's only so much you can prepare for, there's only so much you can plan before a game starts, right? And then you kind of go with the game script, and you control what you can control. You always talk about that. The Southwest ISD way as a whole has been very focused on the running game. There was nothing in this game. I mean, the highest...
They couldn't run at all.
The highest rushing total that you had was our boy John Mills for 17 yards. You just could not find any space.
Wasn't nobody running.
It was a defensive game. If you were there looking for fireworks, you got some at the end, but it wasn't.
Oh, you got fireworks.
You got fireworks. But you had to wait a little bit for sure, right?
You never thought field goals would be fireworks.
No, but in this situation, this big of a game, definitely was so. So big shout to Southwest. They are definitely, like you said, second in district because South Side is just on a tear as well. So, I mean, you look at them, they're the only two teams that have lost one game.
Mm-hmm.
Southside, obviously, 6-0 in district. The only loss, I believe, to Southwest is Southside, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so hopefully these two teams can, start to continue to make create somewhat of a Southside rivalry, if you will. Something to watch for the future, because Southside has definitely come up the ranks over the last few years as far as a team to look out for. And then you look at Legacy. Legacy. Go ahead.
Speaking of Southside and their game with Legacy is, that Legacy game was deceptively really good.
Yeah.
They were, it was 7-0 almost going into the half. I think it ended up 14, something like that. But Legacy was right there. We, Coach Bruce and I talked a little bit after the game about it, and it was a lot more. We just couldn't get that one play to kind of like, boom. You know what I mean? James Ross had a good run. We're missing that. We were missing that one, the Cano Esquivel long ball that we've gotten accustomed to seeing a little bit earlier in the season.
Yep.
But those kids were ready to play. They played hard. The things that we expect, and I think that I think that they can take that distaste, but I think they got a big one on Thursday night in Eagle Pass.
Yeah.
The Titans do to stay in the hunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And win is not as bad as what their record says. Their defense is pretty stout. Their inside linebacker, number 31, gave Southwest fits when they were down there. And and Legacy likes that inside running game, the inside zone, the gap schemes and stuff like that, and then getting on the outside. I think that getting on the outside is going to be a big part of what they can do offensively to a certain degree because of those inside linebackers. The strength of Win is their inside linebackers.
Yeah.
That is me saying that with just watching them live, not studying the amount of film that those coaches have been studying all week.
Of course.
But I look forward to that. And then you got a big game, South Sand, pink out game.
Yep.
And everything on Friday night and everything. There's all kinds of stuff. And I want to give a shout out to one person, Isaac Doss. Isaac Doss is a football player who is also the first actual true blue National Merit Scholar.
Yep, we did a story on him and everything. The dude is incredible.
Yeah.
And he's involved in so much.
Exactly. Great kid. And so, it's pretty neat to be able to say that he's a football player and he's a National Merit Scholar. So the dumb jock thing kind of gets thrown out the window in that one instance and everything. So that's pretty cool.
He is a incredibly talented kid as far as just not only his smarts, but you look at the camaraderie that he brings to that. There's certain things that you can teach in a sport. You can't teach someone to be to bring that culture to.
He's like you, except that he's a National Merit Scholar.
Yeah,
he knows the difference between geographical and geometrical.
Correct. Yep, that was the difference. That was it. Between a National Merit and me, it was geometrical and geographical. That's and a little bit more, but
a lot bit more.
But mainly
like math.
Mainly it was that. But but he
infinitely not true.
But he's incredible, man. He's awesome to talk to too. He's a great interview. Go check that out. That's all over our social media, our website, all that stuff. Isaac Doss definitely got a huge shout out. And not only from the team, but Principal Wagner made it out there herself to go give him the award at the field house, which was fun to see. Recognized at the pep rally. Plenty of recognitions coming his way.
And he'll be recognized again on Friday night.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll be recognized coming up in May whenever he possibly is valedictorian.
I'm pretty sure he'll be recognized in May as well. Yes.
Yeah. So definitely.
Yeah, that guy's going on somebody told me he's going on recruiting visits to MIT and and Amherst and where's Isaac this week?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in Oxford.
Yeah, I talked to him and he was like, I got a full ride here for it. I was like, man, dude, he's just talking. I was like, all right, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
What's your 40 time?
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Hey, Brennan,
what's
do you
your
know
ACT score? 44.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I'm like, wow. But I mean, aside from geometrical and geographical, the guy has a lot more knowledge than I ever will. But big shout out to him. He's doing his thing. And then we have a sport that San Antonio loves near and dear to their heart starting up here soon as well. We have the Spurs season starting up, but we have Southwest ISD basketball getting started.
The girls get started tomorrow.
There you go.
First day of practices tomorrow, and then next week the boys get started.
Any word on what kind of you're expecting this season? If Coach talked to you a little bit about what they're seeing?
I think that we're expecting improvement. One, just basically another year of building and growing and things like that. I think if there's one team that we're really that we will be talking about a lot going forward, it's probably going to be the boys basketball team at Southwest. They are very talented. If you look at what they've done in the spring and the summer, the teams they've played, the teams they've beaten, who they're competing with, it's going to kind of stink in terms of how high those expectations are, because high expectations are good as long as you can manage them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Legacy's got a tough schedule. So when you start looking at Legacy's win-loss record, I would hesitate to judge it completely on that. On
just face value of that,
yeah. They're opening up with Bernie Champion.
Oh,
and
man.
then they're playing in some big tournaments.
Wow.
And everything. So just got to be cognizant of that, but to get them ready for the season to come.
Well, and it's twofold, right? You look at that and you can think of it a few different ways. Depending on your mentality, you could look at it as glass half full, glass half empty always, right? You look at that. Bernie Champion notoriously is one of the best athletic programs in close to the city of San Antonio, but in the state. And so you look at that, you could say, hey, man, it's going to be a really tough matchup. Are we prepared? Or you say, hey, we're probably going to see one of the best teams, if not the best team we're facing this season. Yeah. See what you can do, manage it, see how you can play around it, and it should give you confidence if you're able to keep up.
If I can do this, then I can play with anybody.
Exactly. So it's all about how you think about things, man. Definitely take that in stride as an athlete.
We say in our 7 Habits stuff and that? It's called see, do, get. You understand how that is?
Go, give it to me.
See, how you see the world determines what you do. What you do determines what you get. What you do consistently truly determines what you get.
That's right.
So it all starts with how you see the world.
Yeah, in the words of Mama Carla Medina, you get out what you put in.
Mama smart.
That's what I'm talking about. Isaac Doss smart.
Yeah, sure. Isaac Doss is smart.
Yeah, so...
Mama smart. Not really sure what happened to you, but Mama's smart.
Yeah, Isaac Doss is definitely a different level. But that's all coming up here at Southwest ISD. Anything else, Coach, that you want to give a shout-out to before we get going?
We got Fire and Armor Bowl getting ready to roll, so get ready to start listening to get your canned foods and all that stuff out and get them ready to roll. We'll start that. You can start donating. The community can start donating on Friday night at the South San Southwest game. And we'll get that going the next Friday night. You'd be able to do that at the Legacy game. If you got little kids, take those cans, donate them to their campus, so it counts towards them. Let's see. Last year I think you told me we had a little over 16,000 food items donated. I said on my little video I'll be posting here soon. I wanted to see it around 20,000.
Yeah.
We have 14,000 kids in the district. If we got every kid to donate to, that's 28,000.
Yep.
Last time I'm at. I mean, I know you're still counting on your fingers. But,
I'm here.
But,
I'm here.
But
I answered very quickly.
So we're hoping. We want to see what we can do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Do a lot of great things with that and United in Service and have a great Fire and Armor Bowl on November 3rd. So we'll get that kicked off here at the end of this week. And do that for 2 weeks, and go from there.
Tell you what, the weather's going to be perfect. It's going to be a nice one. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be chilly and just the right amount of competition for this one. You got a lot lined up for it. Southwest High School, Southwest Legacy, Fire Armor again, November 3rd. Go support Southwest ISD Athletics. You have volleyball today. You have
both teams are at home. Both volleyball teams are home tonight. So
there you go.
Come out and see it.
Go check them out today. Whenever you're hearing this, we were recording on Tuesday, so go check them out. And then you got, of course, Pink Out Southwest. Big game for Southwest Legacy over there, and at Win. Hopefully, when you play Win, you get a win. Hopefully, we'll see.
Win and win.
Win and win. You get a win. But we will hopefully
and a huge game on Friday.
We will hopefully be talking about some massive victories for Southwest ISD. And if it's anything like the past weeks, we're going to have plenty of news to talk about when we come back and talk to you next week. So with that, thank you for tuning in. This has been the Scoreboard Podcast. I'm Brandon Medina. That's Peter Wagner. And as always, we are Southwest.